Today we're doing 7.4, which is about solving proportions. So the first thing that we need to do is get two definitions down. The first one is proportion, and a proportion is two equal ratios. So for example, 1/3 equals 5/15. The second one is cross products, and cross products is what you're going to use to see if two ratios are in proportion. So for example, if we look at cross products, we're looking from top to bottom. So, and product means multiply, so we're going to do 3 times 5 and see if that equals 1 times 15. Well, 3 times 5 is 15, and 1 times 15 is 15, so yes, these are in proportion. Let's try that again. Let's see if 6/8 equals 9/12 and if that's in proportion. And let's solve using cross products. So it doesn't matter where you start as long as you're going across. So we can do 6 times 12 and see if that equals 8 times 9. So using your calculator, go ahead and multiply them out. So you should have gotten 72 equals 72, which is true. So this is indeed a proportion. Let's try another one. Let's do 1/6 equals 2/7 and tell me if that is a proportion. So again, using cross products, we're going to do 7 times 1 equals 6 times 2, which 7 equals 12, which is not a true statement, so this is not a proportion. So using cross products can be helpful to determine if two ratios are in proportion, but we can also use it to figure out what an unknown is in a variable. So for example, if we have 12 over d equals 4 over 14, I am telling you that this is a proportion and I want you to solve for d. So just like before, we're going to use cross products. So we're going to do 12 times 14, and I'm going to tell you that this equals 4 times d. Now, like you've done in the past, we're going to solve using inverse. So 12 times 14 is 168, which equals 4d. Now I want to get d alone, so I need to use inverse. So the opposite of multiplying is dividing. So I'm going to divide both sides by 4. So d equals 42. So if you were to go back and plug in 42 for d, so if you would have done 4 times 42, that would equal 168, which equals 168. Let's try one more like that. So let's do p over 12 equals 5 over 6. So we're going to use cross products again. So let's just set up our equation of 6p equals 12 times 5. So go ahead and pause the video and try to solve it on your own. So what you should have got is 6p equals 60. You should divide by 6, so p equals 10. Okay, this is our last problem, and it says a shade of paint is made by mixing 5 parts red paint with 7 parts blue paint. If you mix 12 quarts of blue paint with 8 quarts of red paint, will you get the correct shade? So we want to create a proportion to see if this is actually in proportion. So what we can do is we can start with that first part that was given. 5 parts red over 7 parts blue. And we want to know, does that equal 8 parts red over 12 parts blue? So you don't need to have the variable r and b in here. I'm just using that to show that that's standing for red paint and that this is standing for blue paint. So I'm going to solve using cross products. So I'm going to do 5 times 12 equals 7 times 8. And 5 times 12 is 60. and 7 times 8 is 56. So those ratios are not equal. So no, this is not in proportion, and you will not get the correct shade of paint. So you are done watching the video. You can now do your exit flip.